Welcome to Mount Hood Village, a Thousand Trails Trails Collection campground. Now this is where you will pull in when you arrive at the campground, and yes, it's a little tight, so take it slow. So this is where you'll register, but it's also the village store of the campground. And there's pretty much everything you can think of in here, from gifts and knickknacks to camping supplies, drinks, ice cream, snacks. If you forget something, you can probably find it here. They even have towels and goggles and everything so that your kids can enjoy the pool if you forgot all that stuff back home. So outside of the village store, you can pick up your ice and you can pick up your firewood. And the great thing about this firewood is that they just bring it here when they need to fill up and stock up. It's actually stored in a dry shed and then brought here for sale. So we found it burned great and we had some amazing campfires here. Now you can't take your dog into any of the buildings here, but if you're taking a walk and you want to stop in the village store to grab a drink or an ice cream, they have this adorable little canine hitch here with some water waiting for your pup. Okay, so we've registered, we have been to the village store, and there's a doorway in the village store that leads out to this amazing common area. And all the amenities that you can imagine are here in this area of the campground. So at some point, this campground actually had a restaurant, a popular restaurant, but the lady that owned it and ran it retired. And so here it sits waiting for you to come open up a restaurant at the campground. Behind me is the lodge, and in this space there's a lot of different rooms, one that has games and books, and a room with a fireplace. And this is where all the activities happen here. And from what I understand, during the summer, they have a lot of great activities that they do for kids and adults. So I'm gonna send Dawn in to get a couple of clips so you can see what it looks like, but someone's in there working right now, and I don't want to talk in there because I just want to make sure I don't interrupt her while she's working. So when you enter the activity center, you first need to put in a code. So we're in the fitness center, and this is the best fitness center I've seen at any Thousand Trails campground. So if you're doing strength training, you've got weights, you've got the medicine ball, and you have a bench. And then if you're doing some cardio, you've got your elliptical, your treadmill, and a bike. They also have a cable machine and TRX straps. So just outside the fitness center is the indoor hot tub that'll seat like 12 people. Now it's really awkward because it's outside the door that the panel for starting the hot tub. You have options for 2 minutes all the way up to 15 minutes. But what ended up happening over Memorial Day weekend is that a lot of people were in here and then they'd come out and restart it and go back in, and this entire area got really slick. But come check it out. You guys know how much I love a good hot tub. And while I prefer that they're outside, not inside, this one has an amazing view. And it's the first time that I've actually seen a handicap accessible hot tub. But it can fit a lot of people. It's still a lot of fun. And it really helps my back. So you've got the fitness room, the hot tub, and the game room. So the equipment in this game room is great. It's been kept up really well. You've got a pool table, a ping pong table, your foosball table, and there's even a little arcade and a basketball hoop shoot game. But they weren't working. We couldn't figure out how to get those to work. Now, when you are here, if you are here on a crazy weekend like Memorial Day weekend, July 4th, or Labor Day, you're gonna find that this campground is packed. There's a ton of kids in here. But what comes with a ton of kids, unfortunately, is that what we saw was ping pong table being destroyed, ping pongs themselves completely smashed, and someone stole the ball for the foosball table. So you do have that going on if you're here on a holiday weekend, but otherwise this is a great space, and you can always run to the front office. If something in here breaks, they've got something up there to replace it. I guess they've been through this before. Okay, now I want to take you into the restrooms here at the activity center because they have another favorite of mine. There it is. So in this bathroom area, they have, sorry, don't make you dizzy, but they have cubbies. They have, let's see if you can see them. They have restrooms. They have showers down here, so you can take a shower before or after the pool. And then this is the best. They have a sauna. So coming into the activity center, immediately at the front doors, you take a left because that is the only way for you to access the pool. This isn't a very deep pool, but man, it is a huge pool. It only goes to 5 feet in the middle and starts at 3 feet on the end. So you're not gonna do any diving here, but you can get in a lot of great laps. And it was full of kids this Memorial Day weekend. This is the first deck area, and I'm just amazed at how much open space here is at this pool. From loungers to tables to extra chairs just to sit around. Like, here's your first deck, and then let me show you the other deck. And there is a fire pit area. Hi, I'm over here on deck 2, and just down here, you have the fire pit. Now it looks like some kids were moving around some furniture, so the chairs that are normally sitting around the fire pit are not here. They're kind of scattered throughout, but this is just such an amazing place. And what we figured out while we were walking around, because we had not been over to this area, is that there actually is another entrance here. And it doesn't work. And that's a real bummer because the playground is right behind us. Check out this gorgeous shower area out here by the pool. Oh, it feels great. So I'm leaving the activity center and heading out here to the playground, which is one of the biggest that I've seen in a Thousand Trails campground. This thing's huge. It's awesome. But along with this, we have swings, we have a slide, there are tire swings and jungle gym, and it's just really nicely maintained. Feels like it might be brand new, but there's just There's so much, and it's so big and enough for kids of all ages. If you fall in love with Mount Hood while you're here, you can buy a tiny home. They actually have 2 areas here in the campground that are just full of little tiny homes that you can customize yourself. And I mean, I'm considering it. Now, I highly recommend that you request Site 34 because right across the street is the activity center with the pool and everything. And this is our campsite. And it truly, I feel like it's the best campsite in the entire place. So you'll see our RV is right behind us. This is Vine Maple Hollow. And as I told you, it was Site 34. We were right by the road that leads to the activity center. This is a heavily wooded area. And while it has full hookups, if you have Starlink, you might have some issues being able to get a line of sight for your satellite. Now we were able to because we were able to put it out by the road, but if you're in the interior of Vine Maple Hollow, you could have some struggles. If you come to stay at the end of May, it's cottonwood season, and I don't know if you've ever experienced cottonwood season, but it looks like it's snowing when the sun is out. And this has been everywhere, and it's why I've been on Allegra the whole time I've been here. The area behind me is called New Hemlock Meadows. And if you want completely clear skies and not be covered over by trees, this is where you want to request to stay. In addition, every single spot in here has full hookups. Now, the area behind me is called Hemlock Meadows, and it's not a meadow at all. And it was the original Hemlock Meadows. I just showed you the new Hemlock Meadows. It is actually cleared. But this has a lot of tree coverage. And in this area, you only get water and electric, but there is a dump station right in front of it, right next to the horseshoe pits, which I think is kind of a weird area to have the horseshoe pits, but we haven't noticed any kind of smells or anything from this dump station area. It's been kept really clean. So 2 things I would say were not great about staying here was the laundry. You have to download an app, and it's not the normal app that you see at the Thousand Trails. It's not the CSC app. It's a completely different one. So now you've got to download a new app, and it costs $3.25 per load. $3.25 to wash, $3.25 to dry. The other thing about staying here is that your closest grocery store is only 1.5 miles away. However, even though it's called Thrift Away, there's nothing thrifty about it. It actually is really expensive and overpriced. Now, 16 miles away, prior to arriving in Mount Hood, you'll find Sandy, Oregon, where you have Fred Meyer's grocery bargain outlet and a Safeway. So there are choices. They're just a little bit further out. Favorite thing to do that we did while we were here was take a 20-minute drive to Trillium Lake. You want to do this when it is completely clear skies because Mount Hood is glorious when it is sunny and it's not cloud covered. And at Trillium Lake, you can get the most beautiful view of Mount Hood, but you can also rent kayaks there. If you wanted to take a little tent and camp down by the river, you could. Pack lunch. They have picnic tables where you can hike around the lake and stay at just have little picnic tables to have your lunch. You can fish there. There were people there that were catching trout. So I cannot say enough about this area. Enjoy the outdoors. Everything is super close by. This has definitely been a favorite on my list of all the Thousand Trails campgrounds. So make sure you subscribe because we have a lot more campground reviews coming. I'm going to be doing a Thousand Trails 6-month review, and we're getting ready to leave here and head to the coast of Washington. So there's a lot more to come, and we hope you join us.